Hey there, I'm Trey Taylor. You're watching Coping with COVID, updates on the pandemic and information to help you thrive and survive COVID-19. We're doing a special live broadcast today with Congressman Jim Clyburn. Thank you, Congressman Clyburn, for coming and joining us today. We appreciate you.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, listen, you're up there in D.C. as always, working for our good. And we heard, of course, that the new stimulus bill, very long in working it out, has finally been approved. Tell us what the particulars are, please, sir.
Well, to begin with, I think that calling it a stimulus bill might be a misnomer. There's nothing in this bill, in my opinion, that's going to stimulate anything. This is much more of a relief bill. People have already gone beyond the point that the economy could be stimulated by this. People have already fallen behind in their rent and their mortgages. People are in debt, trying to stay afloat. So the monies we are appropriating here, at best, will backfill people's bank accounts and pay back payment. So they get some relief with this legislation. We'll come back in probably March or April with a new president and hopefully a new Senate. And then we'll do something that will have a stimulative effect. Right now, this is just relief. If you recall, the first time we did this, we had $1,200 in direct payments.
Yes, sir.
This one, $600. The first time we had, $900 above your unemployment insurance. This one, $300.
Wow.
Relief, not stimulative at all.
Yeah. So what about for industry? We talked a little bit, you said $600 per person, and that's for just a single family. Of course, if people have children, they'll get more, just like
$600 per person.
Right. And of course, if they have children, so it's an additional $600 each child, or each child under 18.
In a family of four, it'll be $2,400.
Okay. And then, of course, as you said, as far as unemployment, people will get an additional $300 on top of whatever they receive. That's correct?
That's my understanding. And as you know, we're still sitting here trying to get the bill.
Yes, sir.
It has not been posted yet. And the reason I understand it's been a big delay in posting because something has broken down. It it was supposed to be posted 11:30 this morning. We didn't meet that deadline. It may be up now. I understand that it is up now, which means the Rules Committee will take a look at it. It'll take them about an hour, and then we'll get it to the floor. So I think that we are just lurching toward the end of the year.
So what is the holdup? I mean, obviously, you guys have been working on this pretty much since the first stimulus bill came out. And now you're saying even after all of this work, it still may not be this relief package, as you call it, still not done, the done deal.
Well, I think it's important for people to understand. People keep saying, well, the Congress is not doing this job. The Congress is not doing this job. Ever since I've known, and we should really stay focused on this. Those of us, especially in the South, we know what a Senate filibuster can do. Strom Thurmond set the record, filibustering in the Senate against civil rights. So what we had going on here was a Senate filibuster. Mitch McConnell refusing to let anything go until he could do something to limit liabilities of corporations. Just think about that. We're telling people to go back to school, telling people to go back to work, and you go to work and your employer does not do what is necessary to protect your health. You get sick, they're saying, never mind, you aren't going to be able to sue this employer for having caused your bad health or your death. So he was holding out for that, and we were hell-bent on not doing that. We also wanted to give direct assistance to state and local governments. Ask the city of Columbia, whether or not they need help. Yes, they need help. But go beyond Columbia and out to those small towns. Go down to East Dover, where they've got a small budget and having to lay off their first responders. They would not agree to give help to state and local governments, but want us to give assistance to big corporations that may do things, make decisions that get people sick. That's what was holding this bill up all of this time. So we still did not get state and local governments. But I will say this, we were able to do a lot of things for state and local employees, but not under the heading of state and local. For instance, school districts, they will get assistance in schools. They will get assistance to do things to retrofit that, but it's not just under that heading. So no state and locals, but we still refuse the liability. So a lot of people that have been talking about, well, they give you 1.8, offer 1.8 trillion before, now you're selling for 900 billion. Well, let me tell you this. The difference is in the duration of the project. This bill will not run down to September the 30th. This bill runs to March and April. So that's why it's less money, because the duration is less time.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for clarifying that, Congressman Clyburn. I want to thank everybody for watching. Regina Henderson Moore says, thanks for your leadership. Mary Jones Wilson says, thank you, Congressman Clyburn, for standing up for what's right for our communities. And Efson Bryant says, thank you for being the moral voice in Washington. House Majority Whip, Congressman Jim Clyburn joins us, and he's talking about the stimulus bill. So, Congressman Clyburn, just to recap, $600 per person for those folks in the household, $300 more for those folks that are on unemployment. Now, what about South? And then, of course, you said schools, our schools, South Carolina, all schools, we're talking about South Carolina specifically, will get the help they need financially. And the help for schools, can you please clarify where is that exactly going to go? Because as you know, we're losing teachers. Teachers are afraid to go back to school. So where is that money specifically going to go for teachers and for the educational system?
Well, broadband.
Okay.
We got in this program $7 billion for broadband. As you know, there in Columbia, Richland School District 1, that my youngest daughter just got elected to the board there. I called her last week when I heard that they'd decided that this week that they will not be coming back for a while. And I wanted to know, well, what's being done for those kids that run the risk of losing another year of school?
That's right.
So we got broadband in here to assist schools so that children can have online learning. Not enough, but it's better some than none. And so we did get $7 billion for that. So these kinds of programs, if they're, for instance, we've got airplanes flying again. And what we had was concessionaires at the airports, people who work, they had to close up these businesses.
Yes.
And so we got money in there so the concessionaires can bring their people back to work. So those people who are running through airports can get service in the airports. So these kinds of things that will not meet the eye, but we've got these little things in there in order to be of assistance. And the big thing to me is on the vaccine. Yeah. Getting this vaccine out to people. We want this vaccine to go out without any cost to people. We want, so there's money there to help us get beyond this pandemic. Now they keep using the word crushing the pandemic. That sounds good. I want to get beyond it. Get around it, over it, whatever it is. Get beyond it.
Well, I do want to talk about the vaccine quickly, but before we go to that, so Congressman Clyburn, I know this broadband thing has been a big project of yours personally and professionally. So it is good to know because, as you said, you could be in downtown Columbia and not have internet service. And of course, if you go into Blythewood, Effingham, places like that, as you said, Eastover, you may not have it. And we see that has truly affected our students' education, particularly during this pandemic when they're at home and they have no access. So quickly, all right, so we've got the money for broadband. Obviously, it's not going to happen overnight. Do we have kind of a timeline of when we can start seeing some better, internet service in South Carolina?
Well, there are going to be pockets until we have a comprehensive bill akin to that which we passed the House twice, $100 billion broadband bill, so that people, all these communities can have broadband in every home. That's what it's going to take. Anything short of that is going to be piecemeal. So we are trying to put together, once again, in the next Congress, we can put the bill up again. I think it'll pass the House again. And I'll tell you something else. It would pass the Senate. If Ms. McConnell would put it on the floor, hopefully the results in Georgia will make that an easier thing to do.
This is Congressman Jim Clyburn. Daniel Lake, Congressman Clyburn says, thank you for all of your efforts. She says she deeply admires your courage, persistence, and no-nonsense determination. She said, my God, continue to bless your efforts. Thank you for your courage. That's Danielle Lake. Gary Hunter also says, thank you for the work that many don't see. All right, so Congressman Clyburn, when are folks going to get this $600?
As soon as the bill is signed. I think that if we can get this bill out of here today, now that it's now posted, the Rules Committee ought to be deliberating for about an hour. It's now 2:30 Eastern. Hopefully we get to the floor with it by 3:30. Hopefully we get that bill passed before midnight, and I can come home tomorrow. And I think if we pass the bill tonight, I think the president's going to sign it tomorrow, and I think it'll be in short order. People probably won't get these checks until the first of the week. Maybe not by Christmas, but certainly before New Year's.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a song. Not by Christmas, but New Year's.
You remember that song?
Yes, sir.
I think I remember hearing you sing that.
Maybe. So listen, maybe we can sing it together at the end of this segment. So listen, you talked a little bit about that vaccine. Now we know that you did receive the vaccine, and as you know, our people are hesitant about this vaccine. So you say what? Should people? You got it. So what do you say?
I'm glad you asked me about the vaccine because, I don't spend a lot of time on social media, though every now and then I'll drop on. But those three daughters of mine that you know so well, they spend a lot of time on it. And they've shared with me some of the derogatory things that people have said. But, I'm learning in this business, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. Yeah. So, you just go ahead and do what you think is best. Now, one reason I took the vaccine as soon as it was available. It came in on whatever night that was, and I went the next day to have it done. And the reason I had the shot is because I know a little bit about history. I'm informed by history. I know of the Tuskegee experiment.
Yeah.
And I know what that has done in the African American community. I also know what happened with the AIDS crisis. People like, Bambi and the work we did in the beauty shops, trying to bring people's attention to that. It was neglected for a long, long time. And so because of that, I went early because I wanted people to have confidence in this. Because this vaccine, I've seen the numbers. They say 56% of African Americans are now saying they will not take the shot. Well, that puts your family and your community at peril. And because I have a lot of confidence in the science, and because Dr. Fauci and others were vouching for the vaccine, I went and had the shot. And I wanted to say to my constituents, please don't do what I say do what I do. Right. I want to lead by example.
Yes, sir.
I don't like people who tell me what to do and they don't do it themselves. My first big argument in my civil rights activities back when Martin Luther King Jr. was preaching nonviolence and going to jail, disobeying unjust laws, and then he had not been to jail yet. I told him, I'm going to go to jail as soon as you go. Although I had been.
I was going to say, hadn't you already been? Who went
first? I already been when I told him that, yeah.
Laverta Kurtz James says, and we've got a hard stop at 2:35, Congressman Clyburn. She wants to know, do you agree that the direct payment portion of the bill constitutes piecemeal and a slap in the face to workers? That's Laverta Kurtz James's question. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's why right at the top of this program, I said, let's not call it stimulus, let's call it relief. And it's a partial relief at that. As I said, a lot of people have already gone into debt. They're underwater. They got back rent. If this whole $600 could be, or even if you got the family of four, that money will be gone if you just pay your back rent.
Absolutely.
So yes, it is a slap in the face. Yeah. That's why we're going to revisit this early in the Biden administration, and we're going to do right by working men and women.
So quickly and finally, so when you go back in March, what would you like to see a real stimulus bill look like to actually stimulate folks and the economy?
Okay, though I know what you mean. Let me say this. We go back on January 3rd.
Right.
We are sworn into the new Congress on January the 3rd. The new president will be sworn in on January the 20th. And hopefully this bill, we will visit this legislatively come March. So we'll be back at work a long time before then.
Right, yeah.
We're already working on the new bill. I'm just saying that the end, when this bill runs out, we hope to start a new bill that will stimulate the economy. Not just do what's right by you, but also do what's right by your community. That's what legislation is all to be about to me. What it does for you, what it does for your family, and what it does for your community.
All right, Congressman James Clyburn, the House Majority Whip, thank you so much for taking this time out to explain to us not only the stimulus bill that we hope will be able to be passed today, so you can come on home, and then also to, again, for your courageousness and your leadership in taking the vaccine. I'd love to have you come back on so we can talk more about it. Congressman Clyburn, thank you so much. Last words you want to say to South Carolinians?
Well, I would like to say, have a good, safe holiday season, be it Christmas, Kwanzaa, or Hanukkah. Make it a safe one.
All right. Thank you so much. Congressman Jim Clyburn, thank you so much for joining us, Congressman Clyburn. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Go on in there and make them pass that bill. I know you can do it.
Thank you.
And have a safe trip back. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
All righty. That's Congressman Jim Clyburn, and he explained to us, if you did not hear him, $600 per person in the household, obviously under 18. For those folks who are on unemployment, you'll get $300 on top of your unemployment. And then, of course, they're trying to sign the bill today. And then he's saying it should be before the new year, at least around the first of the year, when you'll start getting those stimulus checks. We'll update you more as more information becomes available. Of course, we'll try to get Congressman Clyburn back on the air. Now, tomorrow on Coping with COVID, Gretchen Barron is going to join us. She is a Richland County Councilwoman. She's going to tell us about the fabulously hot new year, and we're going to replay this interview with Congressman Clyburn. Wellness Wednesday, sponsored by SCDHEC, In It Together, and the Diabetes Advisory Council. That's Wednesday. We will talk to Dr. Michael Kaka and also Bishop Ashford from St. Luke Church about virtual holidays. If you're having a virtual holiday and you want to chime in, please join us on Wednesday. Until then, I wish you peace and abundant blessings. I ask you to please stay safe and please, as always, wear your mask over your nose and under your chin. See you guys.